Hello, and welcome to the Swift Talk. I'm Kait, the Swiftie.
And I'm not breaking eye contact with my producer, who just reminded me of the time I spilled coffee, not so Swift Sam.
Silly
welcome
things
to another
happen.
welcome to another very important episode of the Swift Talk.
Very.
How's it going, Kait?
There's nothing going on in Taylorland, so it's great for you today.
What are you talking about? There's all kinds of stuff going on.
What do you got for me?
She didn't show up at places she should have showed up at.
She hasn't been to the Met since before the Reputation era.
Or
Gigi's birthday?
Gigi Hadid?
Gigi Hadid.
wasn't there a famous horse race this weekend?
Oh, we didn't think she was really going to the Kentucky
The
Derby.
Kentucky
though.
Derby?
Well,
I thought
I wouldn't go to the
thought she
Kentucky
would've.
Derby in the pouring rain either.
with reading the way that the Easter egg shells rised up in my teacup that she was going to be there doing a concert.
No, they raffled off a concert that may or may not happen at some point with tickets to a show that may or may not exist.
Do we know how much they brought in off of those tickets that may or may not exist to a real life
It's been very
concert?
quiet about that. We haven't heard much.
Yeah, no Met.
No, I didn't think she would go to the Derby. I thought maybe Travis would, but no Travis. And the Met, she just hasn't been. Like, every year, hours before, they're like, no, Taylor's definitely coming. And then an hour before people start going on the carpet, People magazine comes out, which is, hypothetically where Tree Payne goes when she wants to clear up some Taylor gossip. And they're like, nope, Taylor's not coming.
So does the Met Gala, notoriously very fashionable, very sometimes gothic, sometimes the aesthetics are through the roof. So does Mrs. Met wait at a balcony window just waiting for, will Taylor arrive?
Anna Wintour? I don't think Anna cares.
No.
I think Anna is just like, whatever. Come if you want. She's invited. Taylor gets invited every year. And Travis gets invited now that he's with Taylor. And every year Taylor's like, been there.
Does Joe still go?
No.
Joe don't Met?
No. Met Joe at the Met.
All I saw was, I haven't seen much of people showing up at the Met. I saw that some of the White Lotus season 3 people were there.
Yep.
Walter Goggins.
Our girl Sabrina Carpenter was there. She looked great.
Sabrina was double dipping because she was SNL on
Yeah.
Saturday.
Yeah. Well, went in New York.
Yeah.
Rihanna announced her 3rd pregnancy at the Met pre-party. Oh, I'm Rihanna's 3rd child. I was announced at the Met. Oh, I'm the 2nd. I was announced at the Super Bowl. Go get him, Rihanna.
She's with ASAP? Yeah.
They both looked incredible.
There was, super sidebar, there was photos and video of him at his court trial, and he's talking with his lawyer, and he's like, I smell Rihanna. She's with me, and he's like, she's actually right behind you. She just said, and he's like, so enthusiastically happy that she's there supporting him while he's on trial. Like, it was just like one of those things being like, you don't see that a lot. Very dangerous thing for somebody who's in a trial to turn around and give someone a very ferociously loving but ferocious hug across the aisle. And it was one of those things like, that speaks a lot about the two of them.
Oh, I love them. I love Rihanna.
She's good.
She's like Taylor. She'll put out music when she's damn well ready.
So other than not being anywhere.
Nope.
I also read that her original house is for sale down the Cape.
Oh, yeah. She's selling. So in our Red era, when she was dating RFK Jr.'s son, Connor Kennedy, it's RFK Jr.'s son, she bought just a casual little house next to the Kennedy compound. She sold it years ago, bought the Rhode Island house, but now it's for sale for something like $15 million.
Something like that.
Taylor's got great taste in real estate. Yeah.
I was trying to decide if I should do a Travis as a fixer-upper or the allotment for Travis is untouchable.
Up and coming neighborhood.
Because she's, speaking of up-and-coming neighborhoods, she's probably selling it off because not spending as much time there.
Well, she doesn't. No, she sold it years and years ago.
Oh, yeah. Never mind then.
No, like she dumped the Kennedy kid and the house.
I'm going to drop you and the property value right now.
I was watching the CBS Evening News and they did a whole thing on typewriters. And they're like, yeah, typewriters are coming back. in part to Taylor Swift's Tortured Poets department.
I did read that.
Even though the cynicism of me can look at physical vinyl record sales and physical typewriter sales going up and the correlation with Taylor Swift, even though it's probably just for a general aesthetic in some ways, it is warming to know that these markets are coming back.
Yeah.
Because other people will buy them to listen to records or to type, not just have them here. That's one of those things, be like, you're not using it right. It's like, that's easy for me to say. Isn't it better to just be like, it's good that these things are happening. Let them come back.
I mean, I think Taylor was kind of making fun of Maddie Healy with it. And we're like, oh, you like typewriters? I'll make typewriters cool because you like them because they're not cool. Okay. And here Taylor is making typewriters cool again.
So she's just being petty.
We love it.
She dated a DJ spinning vinyls. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make vinyls important again.
See?
She needs to date someone who's anti-healthcare and make healthcare important again.
I mean, she's dating somebody who benefits from healthcare, playing football.
It's true. A little padding. It's not just in the wallet.
No, maybe more in the helmet. So I was chatting with one of my tables.
Mm-hmm.
And, we were chatting about how I call it the cult of Taylor. And he goes, well, what do you mean? I go, there's really like a department in the cult for everybody. You're on the business side. Here's the Taylor business. And you're on the creative side. Here are the Easter eggs. Oh, you're a literature. Here's the references. And then I was like, wow, you really like not just a Taylor Swift class, Taylor Swift University. We teach you business. We teach you marketing. We teach you art. We teach you poetry. We teach you the classics, Greek mythology, psychological warfare. You could get a pretty well-rounded degree in just being a Swiftie.
You could. Mm-hmm. Would this be a correspondence course, an online, a physical campus? What are we thinking? Big picture me.
Oh, you got to start small. So maybe just like a little small community, audit some classes and work your way up to fully accredited.
Mm-hmm. Maybe she buys a spot right next to Harvard and Cambridge and makes her own university.
I mean, I don't know if she could make her own university. It would have to come from
an endowment from the cult.
Right.
This is your money hard at work.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Like some cults have like full on like education centers in Clearwater, Florida. We don't want to say the name because we don't want to get sued.
Sure. What if the Swifties gather together and buy a mall that's kind of been like, we have a lot of space and no one's really coming in and the storefronts aren't there. Mm-hmm. You buy your compound and you make it your university. You can live here, you can work here, you can learn here. It's not a cult. It's an education.
I mean, that would really put a whole new world to Taylor Nation. Yeah.
You'll secede at some point. You'll compete with the Vatican for being the world's smallest country.
No conclaves involved, though.
What's your GDP? Depends on if there's an album.
Pretty robust GDP, by the way. Well, because you think about it, like it's got its own commerce. Like we make all the fan stuff that's made.
And we can finally get Swift Sense going.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. We could record from there every week.
We could.
From the podcast hub. Yeah, you guys we get you a little passport to let you come in.
We have work visas. Would they be green cards or would they be red cards?
Oh. I mean, it would depend on your era.
My era is going to have an OR at the end of it.
You'd be sorted instead of like Harry Potter. You'd be sorted.
The sorting cardigan. The categorical cardigan.
Well, you know what our national anthem would be?
What's that?
Heartbreak.
Speaking of, one of my little buddies from the theater world, she and her sister came to see Annie, and I was like, oh, nice sweaters. It's like sweater weather, it's cold. And like, Sam, it's a cardigan. And they show me
Which one?
One of them was the Folklore.
Oh, that
was the only tag that I checked. They might have both been Folklore because I don't know no better.
I was in a coffee shop in Portsmouth, and this woman's like in a conversation. She had the leather cardigan on, and you order your coffee, and you're like, do I say something? Do I not say something? do I say something? And I'm like debating this the entire time, waiting to get my coffee. And finally, on my way out the door, I'm like, I really like your cardigan. And she's like, oh, thanks. It's the lover one. I was like, I know.
I do feel that the cardigan, the Taylor Swift cardigan, is swiftly becoming the new equivalent of the Boston Red Sox hat to show exactly who you are and where you are as a person.
Would you like to elaborate on that?
No, I think that speaks volumes.
But I don't think, because like there was this whole like thing about like the pink hat fans in baseball.
Mm-hmm.
And like we don't have that in Taylor Swift land. Like you just have your cardigans.
Well, yeah, it's.
I would say it's maybe a little bit bigger. It like tells you like who your team is.
Mm-hmm.
Like they were Team Folklore.
I feel like you're all Team Taylor. You just have a favorite player. Some people are more of a Muggsy Bogues fan. Some people more of a Shaquille O'Neal fan.
Okay. So it's like a jersey.
Mm-hmm.
It's like what jersey you're wearing. That's fair. Okay.
What's your number on it? 13. What's your number on it? 13. What's your number on it? 89. Nice.
Yeah, Midnights is my player.
Mm-hmm.
I still haven't even worn my Fearless one. It's actually, I think, still in the packaging.
Why aren't you wearing them here during the podcast?
I forget.
I mean, you come here every Tuesday for the last 4 years.
Mm-hmm. Because they're like, I have one on my desk in case I get cold at work. I have one in my living room in case I get cold. And then I have the ones that are like, I really love that I don't want anything to happen to, tucked away nicely in my closet.
Do you want to store? Do you want to store some here in your, wardrobe?
It's gonna start becoming Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood analog. Kait comes in. It's a beautiful day in the Taylorverse.
Oh my god! Well, if I had every era's cardigan, I 100% would just like.
Well, what are you waiting for?
They're not made.
They're not tailor made.
She hasn't released a Reputation one. She hasn't released a debut one. I do not currently own the red cardigan, which is really upsetting to me. Or the Evermore cardigan. I think there's an Evermore cardigan. There's got to be.
Gotta be. Don't cry about it. No need to cry. We don't have the guitar out. No teardrops in your guitar.
We're not. No, my teardrops are ricocheting today, not dropping.
They're ricocheting.
Yeah. My tears are ricocheting.
That means they'll bounce back.
Just didn't have it with myself to go with Grace, Sam.
Where did she go?
Well, I guess you're going to find out on this week's episode of the Swift Talk. And she can go anywhere she wants, just not home.
You're dropping nuggets of wisdom or lyrics I do not know. But so we're doing my teardrops ricochet.
My tears ricochet.
My tears ricochet.
They're not dropping. They're ricocheting.
This is off one of the Moors.
Yeah, Folklore.
Mm-hmm.
Aren't you excited?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, you're like 50-50. Sometimes you like it.
I mean, you were pretty okay. Sam's gonna not like this song last week.
I like to mentally prepare myself.
I get it.
Because I really like this song.
If you if it's very samurai, if you accept the fact that you are already dead, you will survive.
If I'm dead to you, then why are you at my wake?
Is that another lyric? If I'm dead to you, then why are you at my wake? Whoa. Ooh, if that's in this song, I'm going to be very disappointed if I don't like it, because that is if you're dead to me, why are you at my wake? Oh.
So you got to hype him up a little bit. I've learned, guys. Hype him up a little bit. Give him just a little taste. Get him excited. And watch the excitement fall from his eyes. Let's hope it ricochets back up, though. We're going to hit pause. You hit pause, and we'll be right back after we listen to My Tears Ricochet off Folklore. Well, Sam.
So you just said it before the well, Sam. That's the first thing I want to do, all right? I want you to back the lore truck up and unload all the lore on the front lawn, all right?
Okay.
The teardrops ricochet. In my mind, teardrop, whoop, whoop, whoop. But the ricochet is the ping, pong, ping, ping, ping.
I'm
the
rubber,
bounce back.
you're glue, whatever.
My teardrops ricochet. What do you think the significance of the ricocheting teardrop is?
There's a lot.
Oh yeah, I'm.
There's a lot going on here. There is a lot to unpack.
Yeah, it's a confusing amount sometimes. We all gathered today for my funeral.
Yes.
Because they're the ghost, essentially.
Yeah.
And it's It could be the lover, the spurred lover. It could be the friend that wasn't a friend. It could be whoever
The business partner.
the ghost is addressing.
Mm-hmm.
You're putting on the brave face because you're the hero, but I'm the one who's dead. There's a lot of like this motif of it being. There's a lot of unfinished business on the Taylor end of this ghostly world. So where do you want to start? Because I want to know your lore.
Okay. I mean, there's so much to this, and I think I'm a big fan of this song. It was on the Eras tour.
I remember.
Fixed set list part 2. So I think like
They had the pumpkin lights. They're coming down the aisle and the cloaks.
kind of. That was the Evermore part, but yes. It's just very interesting for me with this song because you really can. It's like a choose your own adventure. Is this like a best friend who turned on you? Is this your romantic partner who turned on you? Is this your business partner who turned on you?
Interesting.
Is this your like what's happening here? And I think it really could be whatever you want it to be. I think knowing what we know now, knowing what we think we know now about the Taylor Swift, Joe Alwyn relationship very much could be like, you're not home anymore. Like when you look at it through a Tortured Poets lens, which you could put this song on Tortured Poets and it would fit. You're not seeing like the lover side of it. You're not even getting the anxious attachment. It's you don't want me anymore. You're wearing the jewels I gave to you to my wake. Like you're wearing the prize, but you don't want to be with me. And now that I'm gone, you're sad. But when you were with me and you had me, you're not sad.
Even on my worst day, did I deserve all the hell that you gave to me? Interesting.
But then you also, the prevalent theory here is that it's about Scooter Braun and Scott Borchetta taking her masters, taking her work, and then when she starts to, and this is before the re-record, so she didn't know what was in store for her. And I've made the point that if Folklore and Evermore weren't so successful, I'm wondering how successful the re-records would be.
Mm-hmm.
If it wasn't for COVID, like if people weren't stuck in their house, and it really did. It brought the mom started listening to Taylor, so then the kids start listening to Taylor. So you've got like the multi-generational thing going on, and it starts to become like this crazy phenomenon. And if you didn't have Folklore, if you didn't have Evermore, would you have the Eras tour?
No, I could tell you that.
I agree.
No.
I was reading this book here on the top. There's Nothing Like This the other day, and they called Reputation her flop era, and I got kind of annoyed by that because I didn't find Reputation really to be Taylor's flop era. It was a Taylor backsliding era, like it maybe put her back where she was at Red instead of 1989, but I found Lover to be her flop era.
Right. Well, Reputation, do you think, are they talking about flop era as like the quality of the songs, or do you feel like the marketability of like singles and the
I think all of the above.
This Reputation was definitely her taking more chances, doing a different approach.
And we don't have Reputation Taylor's version. It got completely shut out of the awards. It didn't get the critical fanfare that 1989 got, or that, the Folklore Evermore's got. But it did have a huge following within the Swifties. Mm-hmm. And the Reputation Stadium tour was such a big moment for all of us. And, it was like a big part in the Swiftie fandom. Mm-hmm. And where Lover was only going to get 4 shows, it wasn't, the lead single was Me.
Ooh.
And when you compare that to Look What You Made Me Do.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
And even with time passed from both of them, like when Look What You Made Me Do came out first, I was like, okay. Okay. And I had the same kind of reaction with Me. I was like, oh, spelling is fun? Sure. And now I go back and I Look What You Made Me Do is one of those songs where I'm like, I get it. I don't really get Me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get it. And so when you look at it from like the perspective of the career with Taylor, she's singing about losing her life's work. She's singing about how these people that she trusted, that were like family to her, that she grew with, like she was one of their first artists. Big machine grew with Taylor. It became a machine with Taylor. And how that wasn't maybe such a healthy relationship that Taylor was in there. And they were happy to say great things about Taylor when she was on top, but where were they when she was not?
Counting the money.
And if she wasn't going to be profitable for them, then we've moved on, which is business.
Yeah. How do we sell these assets that are no longer going to be an asset to us?
And like, we aren't going to undervalue. We're not going to give them to you, or we can, but you have to get them album for album.
Mm-hmm.
And like, we're not giving you your masters, but we'll sell them to the guy you hate.
Mm-hmm.
And that's traumatic. That's basically like your ex being like, hey, this person over here that you hate, that you have beef with, that's never been nice to you, that's who I'm marrying now. So I think you're just seeing, like, it's so interesting to have this song in the lens of today where that Taylor didn't know.
Mm-hmm. I do feel like it's interesting that you chose to start looking at all of this, and you chose to look at it through a lens of later albums.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at it through like a tortured poet lens, is I believe how you said it.
Mm-hmm.
Which is interesting to me because as someone who's not the fan,
yeah,
I look at it through the peepers of Sam, which need glasses, and you are like, I'm gonna look at it through what we know today, looking at this song as opposed to looking at it when it came out. It's I can't ever take that approach. I don't know if I could ever put that mental strain on myself.
That's fair.
But having an understanding of, if I can look at it any other subject in any other way, it makes sense because you're using all the information that you know.
Mm-hmm.
And looking at it as Folklore and Evermore, I mean, I knew about it when the pandemic was happening. I was force-fed it when the pandemic was happening by some people who will remain nameless.
Who may or may not be sitting across from you. But
there was a lot to it that it was like, even that, I'm like, I can get this because the other Taylor stuff I couldn't love. I could never, it pushed me back.
Yeah.
And there's something about the majority of the songs that I hear from Taylor that start with a ethereal choral line. I'm usually like, nope, not it for me. This is gonna tank on me real quick. And yet there's something with this funeral hymn that I'm like, okay, it's one of those songs, and then it builds till the end of it being like there's a quality to this that it's not like, okay, is this Taylor sound like somebody else? Is this this type of approach? Is it what? But there's an altogether composition of this where it's you can see the procession of the coffin being brought out like it's a film. Like there's the action is that it's the person is dead, and yet we were on our way to bury them now. Mm-hmm. The last moments of possibly this person popping out of the coffin, there's something to the passion, at least, because the imagery to me, I'm like, this is confusing, because I'm like, I'm focused on who's the subject about, or what's the object of who we're talking to, Taylor, and having it could be anybody, but all of them share that one motif of they've all turned on Taylor. And it's one of those songs where I'm like, this is why I kind of can appreciate those two albums, Folklore and Evermore, way more than any other album that came before it. And even in some ways more than Tortured easily, but Midnights. Which I'm like, Midnights is flipping great, but Torture, like Evermore and Folklore, like they had stuff that was like, what is there to lose? I've already had Lover, and the world ended. What is there to lose? Take more chances, figure something out, try something different, and it works.
I think that's a really great perspective on this. And I think, when I went to see the Eras tour in Tampa, the people next to my group were just there for the Evermore Folklore stuff. They were not interested in the Lover or the Fearless or the 1989 or Midnights. Like, they did not care. They were there solely for the Folklore and the Evermore. And when it was over, they were gone. And I was like, seems like a lot of energy to put into just 2 parts of a 3-hour show. But it is like, and I say this a lot, there's a Taylor Swift era for everybody, whether you like it or not. And you start to realize, like, within the eras, you can see the threads of other eras. Either the beginning stages where I think if you didn't have Folklore and Evermore sonically, you wouldn't have had Tortured Poets. But I think if you didn't have 1989 sonically, you wouldn't have ever gotten to
Shake It Off.
Midnights.
Midnight, sorry. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think like it's interesting to see like her work evolve, but also kind of come back a little bit and move into different pieces. But it's also fascinating to see the people who connect with Evermore and Folklore who don't find a connection elsewhere and how important those albums are for a certain subset of the fan base.
I know that for me, the music that I tend to listen to, if I was a super fan of them, I could learn more about the lore. And there are plenty of bands who, I mean, especially in, rock or alternatives of that, there are plenty of bands that have their lore. The My Chemical Romance and the Coheed and Cambrias are one thing, but like Billy Corrigan is coming up with his Smashing Pumpkins tour that's just hip. He's like, there's no other band, and it's going to go through the whole thing. It's been 30 years since this and this, and the lead character of the Smashing Pumpkins is Zero, who then goes by Glass, who goes by Shiny, and then back to Zero, and this and that. And like, I'm doing it without the band because I produced this and I wrote this. I want you, the audience, to have the cleanest representation of what goes on in my mind, like all this stuff. And it's a lot of information that it'd be like if I start going to like, I want to talk about Lord of the Rings. We're reading the Silmarillion, and this is everything that JR, the glassy eyes would start happening. There is something that's more approachable when it comes to the Taylor lore than other people's lores might be. And that is a slight variable that makes it more palatable. It's still a lot of information. But part of me heard Billy do that, and I went, maybe that is kind of leading into the way of what we're thinking it might happen when it comes to predictions of Taylor, which we, three of us, still kind of go back to, of being like, maybe it will be an acoustic album. Maybe it will just be acoustic guitar or piano, and it's just Taylor. It's literally fully tailor-made. She has the wherewithal. She has the crew, but she's also learned a lot along the way. You might see Taylor on Taylor on Taylor. And it's just, I want you to hear it. Maybe this is, I'm going to play All Too 10 the way I first made All Too Well in my mind. So it's uninterrupted, uncut. And it actually sounded like this as I was strumming or laying my fingers on the ivories, and this is what came to mind. You might get this weird, poetic, interpretive art piece from her that's not necessarily what the fans...
Sign me up.
But so that's the thing. It's not what the fans would even necessarily want, and yet, yes, give it to me. Something new? Sure. It's Taylor on it. Hell yeah.
I think the like frenzy has died down quite a bit post Eras tour. Like she's not dominating your TikTok feed with, this was tonight's secret song. This happened. This is going on. This is what you missed. So you're starting to see kind of a casual fan fall into a different fan base, the Brett Summer fan base, like, all these other things that kind of come and go.
Yeah.
Which is how it works. Like there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, it ebbs and flows.
And you're seeing like the diehard fans be like, so what's next? Anything? Because we'll just keep staying at where we're at and listening to your music over and over again so you can keep hitting billions of streams on Spotify. That's fine. Like, we're fine with that.
Yeah, I listened to Sabrina Carpenter as I drove somebody else's car and I had changed the tracks. Yeah.
Yeah. But like,
I get it.
But like, people listen to what brings them joy. And I think that for Swifties, you can find the era in your life. You can find an era of Taylor's to match whatever era you're in. So like, you're optimistic and you're hopeful. You're sad and depressed and, in functional freeze. You're tormented by a breakup that you just can't seem to get out of. You are pretending that you're not breaking up. You are devastated by the breakup you're never gonna get over. Like, you're in your friendship girl summer. Like, there's just so much that you can find to create your own soundtrack. And I think that's why you see the Swifties who stay are predominantly the same age, the same kind of background. Like, you just see there's a certain type of Swiftie that will die on a hill, that will be a Swiftie. And whether they're Tears or ricocheting or they're shaking it off, they're just there for it.
Well, in some ways, it's Taylor has made the most capitalistic weaponized song, which is if it's I'm a ghost with unfinished business. The unfinished business is literally the business of being Taylor Swift and making these music, and you've stolen that from me, so I'm going to haunt you. And I'm already dead to you. I'm already dead in this realm, so the ghost that's remaining is what's going to drive you into madness, drive you to lose all the wealth and riches and ill-gotten goods.
But there's something where, like, and Taylor says this all the time, you don't have to forgive and forget. Sometimes you can just forget. And they're like, oh, why are you holding a grudge? And I was like, why am I not? Like, why am I? It's not a grudge. It's a boundary. Like, what you did is not okay with me. And it will never be okay with me. But I don't have to dwell in that. I don't have to forgive you and make you feel better. I don't have to walk away with grace. But I can forget that you existed. I'm just on it with the
lyrics. The lyrics is
they're in there. I've been really like in my Taylor Swift era.
I feel like you're using Shia LaBeouf and his failed. I'm just gonna use quotes to answer all these questions, and now you're succeeding at it.
I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Each and every week, we gather together to mourn the loss of Taylor Swift and to roll a dice to see which song we're gonna be going down the list on. Thank you, Jillian Petruzziello, as always, for the D20. We're gonna roll for an album. We're gonna roll for a song, and it's.
We are. I mean, I don't even know if your roll's gonna work.
The picks are slimming. Let's go at least go for an album as per the doctorate.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. Well, I might be in blue jeans, but I'm seeing
red.
4.
Okay, well, I'm not gonna let you roll because we could be here all day. But there is one that you can't roll for. That's an addendum to the red one. It came out a little after.
Is that one of the new positions in the cult of Taylor, the addendum positions?
Yep.
The actuallys?
Yep.
Okay, whatever this asterisk is.
Well, so it was written for the Hunger Games soundtrack, but she could still, like the Hannah Montana one, but she can own this. Now we have a Taylor's version.
Okay, so she wrote a song that could have been on Hannah Montana, but they put in the Hunger Games.
No, we did a Hannah Montana one. You guys hated it.
Yes, we did.
Yes. Now we're gonna try a Hunger
Universally,
Games
though.
I didn't hate it. I just didn't care for it.
Okay.
But now we're doing a Hunger Games one.
Is it called Mockingjay?
It's called Safe and Sound. And there may or may not be a surprise in there for you. So I think this could be fun for us.
There may or may not be a surprise for it for me.
There's lots to chat about in this song.
Okay.
The people who know, and they're like screaming right now, being like, Kait, just tell them. But you gotta leave something for next week.
Is it because it, like,
No.
Mockingjays?
You're never gonna get it.
Songbirds? Is there an Easter egg, like a bird's egg?
Nope, you're never gonna get it.
Okay.
But we will be back next week. And if you haven't already, make sure to like, follow, subscribe, rate, review, tell all of your friends.
Yeah, leave a comment. Let us know why Kate's right. Let us know why I'm wrong.
Why you can go anywhere you want, just not home.
Yeah. I have a question for you. Tell me what's like being a ghost.
I don't know. I've only been ghosted. Thanks again for listening, you guys. I'm Kait the Swiftie.
And I'm the son of a baker who disguised himself to look like a rock. That's a reference to the Hunger Games.
Yeah, I know. We'll be back next week with Safe and Sound in the Red Era, Taylor's version.
Oh.
From the Hunger Games soundtrack. Thanks so much for listening. We'll see you next week.